Welcome back to another weekly live stream of fly tying. Today I'm going to be tying some streamers for bass, marabou jigs, like that. Bass. I've been crappie fishing a whole bunch, so going to be maybe tying a couple baits for crappie, and a whole bunch of other fun stuff. You guys can give me suggestions for what you want to see. We could have fun with that. Let's see if I can find my white string here. Sorry, I've been this has kind of been a whole mashup thing. Let's see. I think I got some white yarn somewhere in here. Yeah, here we go. White thread. I'm gonna start a first streamer with white and chartreuse, just because I know the trout are eating that in my area right now. And then I might tie a crappie jig. How's it going? Then after that, might tie a marabou jig. So let's start it with a number 4. The hooks I use are just number 4 streamer hooks. You can get them kind of at any tackle shop that sells fly fishing gear. All right. Uh-oh. All right, I'm gonna start my wraps here. Start my first little bit of wraps, just going down the hook shank, just like that, right over that second tag line, just so it doesn't come loose. Snip off that excess. Just tying a kind of nice common streamer for trout here. I'm going to be bottom bouncing them in tributaries and just river mouths outside of Lake Ontario and stuff where there's a lot of current. So I'm going to start with a base of white, and then I'm going to fill it up with, on top, a chartreuse. I've had those work a lot before, so yeah, it's kind of a confidence color for me. Just taking a little bit of that base hair from this deer here. I like to grab hair at the bottom, kind of the longest stuff I could find. This bucktail is at its end a little bit. Let's take some there. How's it going, Chase? Long time no see. You been fishing? All right, I'm gonna start my base wraps at the bottom of my hook shank here. I like to use just a little bit of deer hair at a time, especially with these streamers. A lot of times when tying these things, they kind of like to wrap around itself, but you can manipulate it with some loose ties at the start. Can't wait to get out. Nice. You gonna be going for like bass, or just kind of shore fishing? Or I know crappie fishing right now is good in like Long Point area. I went out, got my limit. Yeah, that's fair. I kind of been going for really anything that's in season right now. Fishing's been a little tough for trout, so I'm trying to make a few flies here to change my luck. All right, I start off with this fly with a few loose wraps, and then I tighten it up like that, and the hair just locks into place. Get a good base layer on. Get some underneath. How's it going? All right at the bottom of my hook here. And wrap that on there. Sweet, just like that. All right, kind of clean up the head of the bait here before I add some chartreuse. Sweet. Kind of open up the eye of the lure here. Nice. Has anybody been fishing yet, or how's it going? Has anybody been out recently, or stuck with frozen lakes, or even ice fishing? I had a good year of ice fishing this year with perch and pike as well. Post a lot of pike videos this year. I think I'm gonna do a blue on the top of this. I got blue buck hair from shore that I just bought. How's it going, Larissa? If there's any other colors you guys want to see me tie up, just let me know. Wow, this is like a weird blue. It's cool. All right, I'm gonna try to find the longest stuff on this. Kind of do a blue streak on the back. It's a Great Lakes color. Had a couple buddies use it and had success on it, so I'll give it a shot. Sweet. Oh, string broke. Red or green? I'll do a nice red color on a crappie jig. Think that'll go down well. Sweet. There we go. So when my string breaks, I just go back over it itself a couple times, and that kind of locks it in place while I'm tying down. Actually, I can make the lighting a little better. 1 second. All right, here's some better lighting. Trim the end of that. I am This is kind of like, unfortunately, like leaf colors. Wow, that is very loud. All right. Gonna go with a little bit more white on this, and then we're gonna finish it up and move on to the next bait. These baits are really good for bottom bouncing for trout in the Great Lakes. It's really weird. Got a weird echo in my stream here. Hope the echo off the walls isn't too bad. There we go. This is kind of like a pro blue color. Good bait for trout. A lot of guys are catching them on Port Dalhousie, where I'm from. So yeah, let's finish this off and let's get right to my next bait. Just doing a whip finish. So I kind of make a 4 with my string, go over top of that, and just go over itself like that. Using the tool is a lot easier than using like your finger or something. There you go. And that bait is just locked in place like that. Do a little trim up. Don't need this anymore. And there's that bait. How's it going, prime fishing? Just made a pro blue color right here for trout. So I think I'm gonna do my next bait as a crappie bait. Use these under floats and stuff. Kind of looks just like a ginormous woolly bugger, but it works really, really well in the springtime. Crappies will push up real shallow, and they'll start eating heavy on shiners and stuff like that. So anytime you can get like plastic or hair jigs in front of them. I like hair jigs because you don't have to worry about that plastic getting pulled down. But anytime you can get a natural presentation of like a minnow or something in front of them, they're going to eat it. So a lot of crappie in my area like eating small, tiny bluegill. So I'll be filleting a whole bunch of crappie, and bluegills will be in their stomach, like little tiny fry bluegill. So I'm going to try to recreate that in this fly. We've got some really cool color chenille. So like this, that chenille right there should be a cool neck and base on this. All right. That's at the end. Let's do a, for these kind of baits, I like doing kind of just marabou hair at the bottom. And it works really well for springtime crappies. So this is kind of like a, what is this color even called? Sculpin olive. So it's more of a natural presentation. Gonna try to find a good piece of feather here. There we go. I just want the marabou to stick at the back of this bait and act as a tail and have really good action in the water. So when I have this bait under a float, that marabou is gonna puff open underneath that float, and every time I kind of hit the bait on the spot, it's going to go pop, pop, pop. And just that hair is going to go up and down in such a natural motion. And hopefully we can kind of emulate a bluegill with it. Get that hair there. All right. I like covering a lot of this kind of rough looking neck area with a lot of ties. I'm going fishing tomorrow for crappie, so I might be using this bait tomorrow. Actually, it'll be used really quickly. All right. So, for everybody just tuning in, I'm just tying a nice crappie bait. I'm going to be recreating a bluegill because a lot of the crappie in my area, I went fishing last week and they were eating and coughing up little teeny bluegill and even perch fry. So these crappie are just relentless and will kind of eat anything. I'm going to make this just a little bit more fluffier on the back end here before I cover it with my body of chenille. I would go live when I'm fishing. It's just it's caused a lot of data. And sometimes it could be boring crappie fishing, especially when the fish aren't biting. And they're in my area, definitely it's on and off sometimes. But I am gonna be having a crappie fishing video coming out, like a long form video that you guys can check out on my channel in the next few days. I recorded a whole bunch with my buddy Ben, and we got a lot of crappie, and I went into detail what I was using, how I was using it, and the most efficient way to catch the crappie with the rig I was using. So make sure to subscribe and stay tuned for that video coming up. All right, so I'm going to cap this bait off with this thing called chenille. It's just a kind of body material that I'm gonna go down my hook, and yeah, this should be interesting seeing how this bait turns out. I've never used this color pattern, so should be cool. Kind of making a longer neck on this bait than I would on just a normal streamer fly. Just because it's more like a woolly bugger than anything. This color I just wanted to do to imitate kind of a natural presentation, like a bluegill on the water. So it's kind of like a bluegill fry or a perch fry. It's just got a natural presentation. Really imitate anything natural. Good question. All right. So this is one of the reasons why you should get a rotary fly tying device, especially if you're going to tie these flies. It's very important because I can spin this around and get my chenille backing exactly where I want it. So I'm going to put this to the side. We've got a lot of different attachments for this fly tying. Put that off to the side and turn my chenille. I think I should put a couple more stronger wraps on this chenille. All right. Kind of messed that up a little bit. Get this out of my way. you kind of want to get everything out of your way, like I just did there. If you're flying or tying these flies. All right. Gotta lock this guy in place. Sometimes hard on these small jigs. I even struggle with it at times. All tangled up here. All right. Let's work on this body. I think this is always the most, this is the coolest part of tying these baits, is putting on the bodies of them. Kind of want it to be a little bit thicker than this, so I'm gonna go back around again. And this bait is starting to come together really well. It's kind of got some tinsel in the middle of it too, so kind of gives this bait a little bit more personality. All right. Put the chenille here. Tie around the base there. Kind of hide the string a little bit and do our whip finish, and we should be good to go. All right, and all done. Sweet. So that's kind of exactly what I was looking for. So just a really cool bluegill slash perch imitation bait. I think you love fly tying. We have very little resources. So do you not have the device, or are you looking for a lot more like materials and stuff like that? On like if I really recommend if you want to get into it, look at Facebook Marketplace. A lot of people are getting like selling their old stuff and materials. Store and so what I do, I like to find sales. A lot of places like say a sale or Bass Pro Shops, they'll send a lot of this stuff for clearance. So like at sale, I got this for $3.99. And then I found a whole bunch of chenille for 20% off, and that's helps me save a little bit more money when I'm tying flies. So I'll kind of buy whatever comes on sale, and then I'll make baits around what I have, which is kind of cool. The cool thing about fly tying, because you could really, the possibilities are endless with how much flies you can tie and what kind of flies you can tie. I have tied pink flies before, yes. All right, that's a cool crappie bait. Might as well switch up to marabou jig for bass. So I'm gonna be using kind of a, let's see if I can find a cool hook. I could use, so for tying marabous, I could use kind of a flat head like that. Or kind of broke. Yeah, that's fair. I mean, you could use kind of really any hair. It doesn't need to even need to be from like any. It could be from your hair to to like your if you took hair off your pet. You can really use anything. All right, I'm gonna tie a marabou hair on this guy right here. It's kind of a olive colored head. So this is gonna be great for like bass and stuff. I've caught a lot of big smallmouth. Some of my biggest smallmouth on marabou jigs, and I kind of like this stout hook on this guy right here. I've never used human hair on a marabou, but that is something I would probably do in the future. All right, so I think I'm gonna go with a green on this. A lot of times in like a mayfly hatch, I'll tie on a green marabou jig, and that's kind of the only time I'll switch off of a black, is if like there's a mayfly hatch and bass are kind of shutting down because they're only eating mayflies. This does a really good job at imitating one of those newly hatched mayflies that's coming to the surface to take off, and I feel like it matches the hatch really well for bass. So this has definitely been kind of a secretive bait for me. I've gotten a couple 20-pound bags on it. My biggest bag on a marabou is like 25 pounds on Lake Simcoe, which was really cool. Yeah. Is anybody planning any big fishing trips this weekend or going out at all? I know it's Easter weekend, so hopefully everybody's spending time with family and stuff and having nice meals. And hopefully you get to do some fishing too. I'm going to be fishing an area by my house for crappie. I got into a lot of crappie last weekend. It was crazy. And I ended up catching my limit and going home. So got a lot of footage on that. I'm going to be posting it pretty soon, like in the next couple days. So stay tuned. Make sure to subscribe. And yeah, I'll be showing how to catch crappie. You're fishing for crappie tomorrow too. That's crazy. Where are you fishing? An area by your house. Nice. I know a lot of crappie fishermen are very secretive about their honey holes. I'm gonna have a big crappie dinner on I think Friday night or on Saturday with my family. All right, starting to tie this marabou jig here. So with bass marabou jigs, I like keeping the neck on my bait as small as I could possibly go. I just like that string kind of being concentrated in one little tiny area by the head. But I also like blowing it up with hair. So the more hair I could put on this bait, the better. Here's my first clump. I kind of use a full feather per clump, and I'll go all the way around the hook, making it really fluffy. Here's a little bit here. Do a couple loose wraps and tighten it down. I have tied purple before. I do a purple chenille, so the neck's of the bait, but I do not have any purple hair on me right now, unfortunately. Just blue, which I tied a nice streamer earlier with the blue top on it. It should do well for trout and stuff like that. All right, got to find another good hair or good piece of feather. Got another nice feather here. So a lot of times, if you look at the back of this, it's kind of garbage fluff. A lot of them have kind of no really like fluff on the actual feather. So I like to trim a little bit of the bottom of the feather before I get to the top, where a lot more better feathers are up there, and going to make this a lot more vibrant of a marabou jig. All right, there's a good feather. Trim that down. So I'm pretty sure you can buy marabou jigs. You can buy marabou hair, sorry, where you can just get better feathers. So someone sorts through it, and there's a lot better feathers in the bunch. Because I know a lot of companies don't really have the quality of fluff that you're looking for on the feathers. Kind of just kind of garbage at the base of the feather. My best catch of all time, probably a 28-inch splake. At the time, at that lake specifically, there wasn't that many splakes. So splake is a hybrid between a brook trout and a lake trout. And they're usually a put and take fishery, so they don't get that big usually. And it was an absolute giant. Caught it way up north. All right, this marabou is starting to come together a little bit now. This is my go-to bait when the bass fishing gets to a weird mayfly spawn, and those bass are being really finicky. Kind of clean up the neck here a little bit. Get right in there. So I use these shore scissors, kind of with a curved tip, just to get right into the back spots of back here, just to make it a little bit neater. And then you can cover it up with your wraps and make it look a little nicer. Would dog hair be better or human hair? I guess it depends on how long your hair is and what kind of dog you got. I'm guessing some will flow differently in the water. This is even kind of a longer neck than I would usually like on these jigs here. But it is getting some fluff to it now. I'm going to go on the sides now to even add some more kind of fluff to it. And make sure this jig really stands out in the water when I'm reeling it in. So that's another good topic on how I use these marabou jigs. I like to do a 7/6 medium light rod on my marabous. That allows me to kind of whip that marabou jig far away from the boat, because usually you're using like 3/16 heads. I'm using a 1/16 head on this one, so it's very light, very lightweight, and you want to get as far away from the boat as possible. And then on the retrieve, so the reel I'm using is a Abu Garcia Revo winch. And the reason why I use that reel is I can kind of slow down my presentation. It's one of the slowest reels on the market. And I can slow my presentation down and just kind of wait out those fish, really slowly reel that reel in, and do well that way. That's how I use them. I know some people want to think that you bounce them off bottom and use them like that, but marabou jigs kind of are cast and reel very slowly kind of bait. All right. This jig is looking pretty full. There we go. On the back side of this, gonna add one more little bit of fluff, and then I'm gonna add a little bit of flash to kind of make it seem like it's like feathers on, or not feathers, wings on the bait, because mayflies do have these kind of sparkly wings on them. There is no fish I will not touch unless it's like I don't know, like an electric eel or something, but we don't have any of those in our area. All right, just finishing up this marabou jig with the last little bit of marabou. I think this package is kind of garbage now. I don't really have any more hair or good feathers in this this batch. I've used it all kind of, and it's kind of sad when you throw away a lot of hair, but it's just what you have to do, because a lot of the hair in these bunches of hair that you get from the store are just not good. It's only about like 25% of the feathers that are actually can be used for tying like a jig like this. This is looking pretty fluffy, just like a big fluff ball, which is exactly what I want it to look like. It's gonna all condense down when it hits water. Sometimes I want my jig to be so fluffy that when it hits the water, it floats. Not fluffy enough to, like, if I make a long cast, it's gonna float on the water. But I want it to be, like, if I just place it on the water, it's gonna sit on the water because it's just got so much fluff and it's so buoyant because of that. Ugliest fish in my opinion. That's a tough one. Probably, I mean, a catfish is up there. They're pretty butt ugly. Yeah, probably a catfish. Catfish or a carp is probably the two ugliest fish. I guess carp, some of them could be really cool looking, like a mirror carp or something. But yeah, they're probably the two ugliest species of fish in my opinion. All right, I'm gonna add a little bit of flash to this mayfly looking bait. Let's see here. I think after this, I'm gonna go back to another streamer. Oh, maybe I forgot it at home. Oh, no, I found so gonna use a little bit of this tinsel here. It's just a little bit of flash on the bait. I like to put it on the sides to make it look like a wing. I do have a one that got away story. I was fishing downtown kind of area near my house, and I hooked into a big bass, big largemouth, and it looked to be probably close to 6 pounds, and jumped right in front of me and spit the hook. After that, I caught two like really big fish after that, but it was not the same size as that one that got away. It's pretty heartbreaking. Definitely those fish that you think about after a while. Can't get over it. All right. Just finishing up this marabou. It's everybody just joining in. If there's any colors anybody wants to see on the next, I'm gonna do a streamer fly. Let me know. All right, finishing up with these two kind of wings. You could see that flash in the bait there on the side. In the water, it just looks really, really cool. So here we go. Gonna do a whip finish on this guy. All right, all done with this guy. Tie another streamer fly with a little bit of chartreuse on the top, white and chartreuse. That is a good looking bait right there. It's a nice fluffy marabou. All right, let's go back to the streamer. Gonna tighten up this vise a little bit. So when I'm setting up my vise, I really don't want my hook to slide at all on the vise. I want it to really lock into place and not move at all. I do have a couple 2-piece rods, yep. So this is a fly tying vise. This guy I bought for around $150. I bought it at the sportsman show at Toronto. So you can buy them off like shows, and they'll have show deals. That's just where I find the best bang for your buck on kind of new gear. All right, I think this is gonna be the last fly of the night. My phone's almost dead, so fortunately, might have to call it a little earlier. All right, I'm gonna start my first wrap around the hook like this. There we go. Sweet. There we go. All right, so I'm gonna start with the white part of the bucktail at the bottom. Gonna go with that really long fur at the side. Gonna try to make it as long as possible on this one. Make it a really bigger bait, kind of imitating a alewife or something like that. Got a couple loose wraps on it. And lock it down. Sweet, just like that. All right. Just kind of clearing the hook point there. I'm really excited to go fishing this weekend. Gonna be going for crappie, so hopefully get a whole bunch, and yeah, it's gonna be fun. Hopefully it's gonna be a good Easter. I cannot reveal my secret spot. Just a Lake Erie kind of tributary there. Crappie are going to be moving up shallow, so should be good. All right, I'm going to fill the bottom of this. Hope everybody has a good long weekend too and gets on some big fish. There we go. How's it going, everybody? Just tying a streamer fly for big brown trout and big steelhead. This is more of a brown trout color that I'm going to tie. It's going to have some chartreuse on the top. Cream fish to trophy catch, probably a bass over 10 pounds. I think I'll have to go in the States for that one. All right. Probably gonna add a little bit of flash to this. Sweet. There we are. All right. So I just bought another new bucktail, all chartreuse. So hopefully, with this kind of more vibrant of a color, it's gonna attract more fish. I'm gonna go with a long kind of piece here. I don't want to even get too much. It's just I want a nice streak on the top. of this bait. There we go. I bought these materials from Sale. So they're a store in Canada. I don't know if it's in the States too, but they usually have really good deals on all fly fishing stuff because they're a bigger company. So they'll have like 20% off, and then they'll have on select items. This chartreuse bucktail was not 20% off just because it's more of a popular kind of buy. But I bought some of the chenille for 20% off, marked down, just because I needed to get rid of it. I got a whole bunch of different colors. Usually if I see like a big sale like that, I'll kind of stock up on all my materials. Good question. Is anybody going fishing this weekend in the chat? All right, gonna add a little bit of flash to this bait. Oh. I don't really remember my first catch. I was very young. All right. Just cutting this down a little bit and adding it into the marabou here. So I want to get this kind of flash right on the edge of where the white and the chartreuse connects. So right there, yep, sweet. Sweet. I'm having a new crappie video coming out pretty soon. So I'm going to be showing you guys my favorite technique. In my opinion, the only technique you need for panfish in the springtime. So hopefully you guys enjoy that video coming out. Just making this last streamer here for brown trout and steelhead. But this color is more of a brown trout color, in my opinion. Just with the flash, steelhead are kind of more of a natural clear water eater. They will still eat the odd kind of reaction bait, but I've noticed, at least in my area, it's more brown trout eating the chartreuse. All right, just finishing up this last one. All the cut hair is all garbage. All right. Sweet. That actually turned out really well. Nice streamer that I definitely will be using pretty soon. Probably this weekend. And hopefully get one on it. All right. I think I got to get off. kind of running out of battery. But thanks everybody for tuning in. Once again, another new videos coming out this week. So hopefully you guys all enjoy it. All right, see you guys.